five something. Yes. Yeah, it will be like 4 or 5.
I could do the introductory words in place of Manfred.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
He told me.
Oh, really? So I hope that you prepared yourself.
Ok. Can we start? José Eduardo, onde estás? José Eduardo. O vídeo. Está aí. Estava à procura do Duarte, precisamente. Duarte, podemos avançar? Podemos avançar já com o vídeo. Sim. A Helena tem o script. Okay, I'll give you the floor. Yeah. So, the Congress is open. I'll give the floor to Elena. Please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Melo, and good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to this 9th edition of the EPP European Congress of Young Farmers. This is an event that brings together and award the young talent of European farming. I introduce myself. My name is Elena Cavallone. I am an EU journalist, and I'm so honored to be here for the fourth time to moderate this event. I really believe that this is a unique opportunity, a unique space where farmers can meet decision makers in Brussels, the representatives, and also all the people involved in the agricultural sector. This is why we want to make it as inclusive as possible, and we are going to broadcast this event on X and on Facebook so that also those who are not in the European capital can really follow us. I would like also to welcome them that are watching online. Before starting, I would like you to open the folder that you have on your desk, because you will find a sheet of paper where you can have the details of the Wi-Fi connection, but most importantly, you will also have this QR code. If you scan this QR code, you will be able to access to an app called Slido. And this is crucial because with this app, you will be able to vote in the next session of this Congress. And you will be able to interact with our speakers, asking questions, vote, and come together, have a fruitful conversation. So I really encourage you to scan this QR code. So the theme of this year's Congress is Young Farmers, Guardians of Tradition and Drivers of Innovation. And this is what resumes the role of young farmers. They are the backbones of the agriculture in Europe, but the sector is facing many challenges like generational renewal, but also facing the consequences of climate change, access to new technologies. That's why a very important part of this Congress is the European Young Farmer Prize, which awards innovative ideas and practices that young farmers are bringing to tackle those challenges. And this year, the prize is powered by our partners, CropLife Europe, the association that at European level promotes science-based innovative technologies for agriculture, Fertilizers Europe, the association that represents the major mineral fertilizers manufacturers in Europe, and McDonald's, the world's leading food service brand. The President of the European Commission, Mrs. Ursula von der Leyen, knows very well the importance of a resilient, efficient, and innovative agricultural sector. We have the privilege today to watch a video that she sent to us. It's a message that she sent to all of us, but especially to you, young farmers. So let's watch this video together.
Dear Manfred, dear Nuno, Juan Ignacio, Michaela and Herbert, dear young farmers, ladies and gentlemen, Europe is a continent of ancient customs and constant innovation, of new technologies and age-old values. And this is crystal clear when I look at the impressive group of young men and women whose projects are being awarded today. Most of your farms have been passed on from generation to generation. All of you are deeply rooted in your territories. You are the guardians of ancestral traditions and techniques. But there's so much more to your stories. You're also pioneers of a new kind of agriculture. Some of you are using data, satellites, and AI-powered robots to minimize the use of pesticides or to take better care of your livestock. Some are experimenting new farming methods to protect biodiversity and preserve your precious soils. Some others are rediscovering forgotten crops because in their incredible resilience to climate change, they are outstanding. You have all reinvented the noble and ancient art of farming, learning from the past, but always with an eye to the future. And I want the European Union to always be at your side, encouraging and supporting you with all possible means. I know that the challenges you are facing are huge, from the devastating impacts of floods and droughts to the high costs of fertilizers and the lack of adequate infrastructure in many of our rural areas. And as a result, the number of young people like you who choose a career in farming is getting smaller. But there is so much we can do to reverse this trend. You show that a generation renewal for European agriculture is already happening. And Europe can support you in facing many of these challenges. First of all, we can help you respond to the threat of climate change. This year alone, we have put almost 500 million euros forward for farmers in need because of extreme weather. And we have set aside 1/3 of our common agricultural policy to help farmers adopt natural solutions against the impacts of climate change. That means almost 100 billion euros in investment by 2027. Europe is your best ally as you protect crops and animals from floods and fire. And Europe's support isn't only about funding. And this is my second point. We want to be your partners in innovation. For instance, we have a wealth of data regarding the state of our land, especially thanks to our world-class satellite systems. And we are now making this data available to you, who are exploring the new frontier of smart farming. In 4 years only, we have more than doubled the surface of rural areas that have access to high-speed internet. And we have also just proposed legislation on new genomic techniques so that you can plant new crops that are more resistant to disease or climate change. We want to put our best technologies at the service of young, bright minds like you. We Europeans owe so much to our farmers. You put high-quality food on our tables. You are the custodians of our nature. You bring life to our countryside. And this must continue to be the case. The future of agriculture will be made in Europe, and it will be made by you. A young generation of farmers, guardians of tradition, and drivers of innovation. Thank you all for being here, and congratulations to the winners.
Thank you very much, Mrs. von der Leyen. I would like also to welcome Mr. Manfred Weber, President of the European People's Party, the political family at the European Parliament, which is organizing this event. He's joining us remotely, and thank you very much for being here. Of farmers and of rural communities in general, what's your message today to young farmers? Mr. Weber, can you hear me?
Yeah, hello. Good to see you all, and thanks so much for giving me the floor. First of all, I want to welcome all of you. First of all, the friends who are organizing everything. So Herbert, Nuno, Michaela, Juan Ignacio, and also Norbert Linz, and all the friends. I see also further colleagues from the group in the European Parliament. So please feel welcomed as young farmers in the framework of this traditional gathering of young farmers in Brussels. As group president and as party president, I want to underline that we are the Farmers' Party of Europe, as European People's Party, and we are proud about this, to defend this important sector also on the European level. And the event of bringing together young farmers on Brussels level has already a long-standing tradition. I'm also happy to see this, that there is so much interest, and it's obviously so attractive to join and to be with us on European level. Let me first of all underline that from a European point of view, the farmers sector, the area where you produce food for our citizens, is not a normal part of a business sector. It's fundamental. Sustainable, good, high quality food is fundamental for our societies, and we are experiencing so many dependencies already. When it was about energy, we saw that we were so much depending on Russia, for example, that we have to consider to lower the number of areas where we are depending on imports from abroad. And that's why the capability of Europe to produce enough food for our citizens, to not increase the dependency, is fundamental for the next upcoming years. That is one lesson we learned. And that's why, again, farmers sector, agriculture sector is a special area where we talk about fundamental things for our people in Europe. The second thing I want to mention is that farming and agriculture sector is a creative sector. There are a lot of new developments going on. New technologies are arriving. We are speaking currently about genomic technologies to get new plants and to have more resilience in the future, also on climate change, for example. So there is a lot of new developments going on, and we as European People's Party, we are open for this. We see technologies, we see new innovations as a solution, and not first of all as a problem, as the left is so often doing. I also want to underline that for us, agriculture is a field where we can also benefit economically, because we are exporting our very good food to the rest of the world. And in all these areas, you know that it's also difficult for us as lawmakers to find a good balance between the ecological needs and the production needs of the farming sector. And we want to find a good balance. For example, we had a few days ago a debate in the parliament about the reduction of pesticides, of plant protection instruments. And we still see the need of using pesticides for the future, like glyphosate, as an example. Others don't see this need anymore, want to have as maximum as they can production reduction on these pesticides. And that is where we have to find a good balance. And EPP wants to be ambitious on climate change, on ecological interests, but also be ready to help our farming sector to find a good common understanding. That's our way of doing things. Sustainability on ecological field, on economic field, and on the social field. All three pillars are equally important for the future of Europe. I want to add that farmers and the agriculture sector is also a question for rural areas as a whole. Without farming, rural areas have hard times to have a good future. That's why this broader perspective about the future of rural areas is also deeply rooted in the EPP DNA. I myself, I'm from a rural area and I know what we are speaking about. Having all these things in mind, I hope that you can use the next hours and days for an intensive discussion with the experts in the EPP group, with all those who welcome you now in Brussels to discuss these issues. And I'm really happy because your fresh ideas of the next generation of farmers is exactly what we need as lawmakers to get the future into our legislation and to get the new ideas, the next generation ideas also in the pieces of legislation in front of us. Let me close my welcoming remarks with a more broader perspective, because you are knowing that farming sector, agriculture, legislation, all these things are not isolated. They are embedded in a broader perspective. And we are living in a moment of time of history where, again, fundamental questions are on our desk. Peace is at stake. With Ukraine, the war from Putin against a free and independent country like Ukraine was changing the historic page in Europe, and we are facing a new period in front of us. Also, the attacks from Hamas to Israel are a fundamental challenge against our ideas of peace, of freedom, of democracy, of rule of law. And we have to stick together. Those who are believing in this rule of law ideas in a democratic world, in a free world, must stay together. Hamas, Hezbollah, behind Iran, there is Russia, and Russia is linked to China. That's in a way the new world we are faced, and we have to give an answer. And President Zelensky was a few months ago in Brussels, in the European Parliament's building, and he spoke about the European way of life, about the idea how we organize a society, how we want to live together based on our joint and common values. And he told us that Ukrainians are ready to defend the European way of life. And that's why, please don't forget that in this moment of time, there is more at stake, and we have to be together to defend the European way of life, to help our Ukrainian friends to do so, and to defend it also for us in today's European Union, to have an idea how privileged we are that we can live in peace together in a democratic world. Welcome in Brussels. Good luck for the discussions and enjoy the days.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Weber. He really has pointed out several points of discussion that will be explored along the Congress. I now want to introduce our hosting MEPs, those who have spent energy, efforts, time in the organization of this event. Mr. Nuno Melo, Mr. Juan Ignacio Soed Alvarez, and Mrs. Michaela Shodrova, and Mr. Herbert Dorfman. I would like to give the floor to Mr. Nuno Melo. He is the one who started this initiative in 2012, together with Kapena Zaha. So I guess you also want to welcome our participants.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Elena. Well, as you might understand, I will use my mother language, the Portuguese, to address everyone. I'll give you just a few seconds to put your headphones. The language is also a very important political issue. So to use our mother languages, it is for me always, when I can, important. Having said that, bem-vindos
a warm welcome to the 9th holding of this Young Farmers Conference held by the European People's Party. This conference has been around for almost a decade now. Because of young people and because of the importance of farming, the EPP and the CDS, which is my domestic party in Portugal, politically speaking, are just two driving forces behind an initiative which we are keen to support young people in farming. Food independence is something which goes to show how successful we have been in Europe. And thanks to the CAP, our young farmers are producing high-quality foodstuffs at competitive prices, complying with environmental standards. That said, those who are engaged in farming, owners, workers and entrepreneurs, cannot be replaced at the correct pace by incoming generations. This is something which greatly exercises us in the EPP. We've been worrying about this for years. That's why this is a problem for political decision makers and for the people of Europe. We in the EPP have pinpointed the problem, but we want to come up with answers. That's what we were voted in for. That's why we are politicians. Not just to make speeches, but to come up with solutions. That's why we've examined projects from countries throughout the EU, projects with young people at the forefront. That's a great idea and shows how strong we are. This is the 9th time this conference has been held. That just goes to show how successful we've been year after year. Over the years, things have evolved, but it's important that you are aware that we are still here, thanks to MEPs who have names and faces. All of you are young farmers, but you're also citizens from countries, and you are voters. And you must certainly bear in mind that there are MEPs here with faces who are making a sterling effort to stand up for your corner, in other words, farming. So, you must be acknowledged in your country for what you've done, particularly in the run-up to elections, because when elections are in the offing, those who've worked hard deserve a reward. I firmly believe in this. This year, 4 MEPs have rallied their efforts to organise things. There's me representing Portugal, Herbert Dorfmann from Italy, my good friend Juan Ignacio Zoido from Spain, a great MEP, and Michel Soidrova. We're all on a par. There are also 22 other MEPs who are the ambassadors of each of your countries. Each of these MEPs stroke ambassadors are your country's best friends to stick up for the farming sector and stand up for young people in farming. So, by working together for some years now, we've been responsible for hundreds of farmers from throughout Europe coming. And I'm very grateful, sincerely grateful for young people for not throwing in the towel, because you still believe that agriculture has a future in Europe. Thank you to you young people, because you're conducting projects in your holdings, showing determination, showing grit, even in times of great uncertainty for European farming. Just look what happened during COVID-19. Farmers were never locked down. They never gave up. You took a lot of risks, thanks to which we were able to crack on within the internal market. Some special words of gratitude. Firstly, to Manfred Weber, the chair of the EPP, who made an effort to join us to show how committed the EPP really is to agriculture. Thank you likewise to the President of the Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, for her video and for conveying a very focused and important message about what we're all about. What's more, and this is probably the last time I will take part in this conference after a great many years, because I will be going back to domestic politics. I've spent a long time in Europe, but I cannot leave Europe, having dealt with agriculture, without saying just how grateful I am to the Portuguese Agricultural Federation, 2 representatives of which are in the room. The CAP really has stood up for agriculture in Portugal and the EU. They've made strenuous efforts, have CAP. The same applies to ASAJA, the Spanish Federation, represented by Pedro Barato. Without them, there would have been no conference. The conference came into being because politicians and farmers' representatives pooled their efforts in the bid to improve people's lives. That's what really makes the difference. So, Luis Mira, my friend over there, I'm very, very grateful to you. Thank you likewise to our partners, CropLife Europe, Fertilizers Europe and McDonald's, who've helped this 9th edition, and the juries from the various institutions, the Commission, Copa Cogeca, the European Economic and Social Committee, the EP Agriculture Committee. Thank you to Norbert Linz for heading up this excellent team, which has been a pivotal part of what we're all about. Thank you to the head of Peter Meilendorf, who's been so kind as to join us today. So the issue at stake is young farmers, guardians of tradition, and engines for a transition. We have a prize for digital projects, projects related to resilience, the best project for improving rural areas. A lot of people and countries took part from 22 countries, and we have 3 excellent projects, each of which deserves the prize. Of course, I'd be dead keen for the Portuguese project to get the prize, but all of these projects are of outstanding quality, and all the projects deserve, or would deserve, to win the prize. I would stress that over 9 years, we've brought 2,000 farmers from all countries to Brussels. And last time with us, we had about 2,800 young farmers online. And I think the same will happen this year, because the Congress is being live streamed via Twitter, X and Facebook. The future lies in the hands of young people. I have no doubt whatsoever that the EU will continue to be a successful project. Let's get down to it. Let's get our hands dirty. I wish all you young farmers the very best of luck. I'm proud to have spent so many years being involved in your work. And back to Elena, who's, I'm sure you're in good hands with Elena, who's chairing this committee.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me, Helena, just a second.
Yes.
Se me permitem, eu tenho também que...
If you'll allow me, I have to thank somebody special. The assistants, the advisors, the technical staff, particularly Eduardo Vieira, Miguel Mesquita, and particularly José Eduardo. They spent months working together with the various MEP's offices for this conference to be held. This conference is the culmination of all your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Melo, for your encouraging words and for your activity during all over these years in the organization of the event. I would like to give the floor to Mr. Juan Ignacio Zoido Alvarez, MEP from Spain and member of the Agri Committee. He also would like to give a message to our participants.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Firstly, I'd like to thank the chairman and the president of the commission, Ursula von der Leyen, for speaking to us and showing interest. I'd also like to sincerely thank the president of the EPP, Manfred Weber, and also thank him for being president of the EPP and being a great leader capable of defending farmers despite the huge pressure we've undergone in Europe throughout the last few years. We've overcome those pressures and have been able to push forward proudly and move forward as defenders of the farmers. So I would like to say I'd like to thank Nuno Melo, who linked his name with this Congress and who's been voted to national tasks at the same time, but he's also been very involved not only in Portuguese farming, but farming and very involved with young farmers at the European level. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Hannah Dorman, who's a great coordinator, who's been leading the EPP and leading legislation in areas of farming and agriculture. I'd like to thank him for giving me the opportunity to be here and the advice given to defend farmers and to be able to deal with the situation. So I'd like to thank the chairman for representing the interest of farmers and making this part of our EPP and involving the Parliament and the actual Commission. It has been wonderful having you as a chairman. I hope that you will work with us to guarantee the defense of farmers in their public responsibility and setting the example. I'd also like to thank my colleagues in Agri, Miguel Sandroa, who I'd like to thank him for all his contributions. I'd like to congratulate you and greet you very warmly on the part of the behalf of the Spanish delegation. I'd like to thank you for Masaha for being here. Let me seize this opportunity to greet Pedro Barato, your president, and greet Luis Vida, president of the Portuguese cap, just like Asaha, are two bodies who have been working together and cooperating together. Thank you for accompanying us in this wonderful European Congress of Young Farmers. This is a true honor to be part of this new Congress of Young Farmers in the EPP. I'm proud and very pleased to see how many young people are interested in agriculture. You are the hope and the future of Europe. Throughout this legislature, I have lived through very emotional but very gratifying times. But nothing has been as encouraging as holding this Congress one more year. This is an unprecedented opportunity to help you fulfill the infinite potential that you have in a time also and an opportunity to recognize and acknowledge your courage in guaranteeing food safety for all Europeans. And this is why your work is so relevant, as your work as guardians of tradition and drivers of innovation. Keeping tradition is not something paralyzing, but it actually is very stimulating. We're not paralyzed in the past and only living to carry out farming like your predecessors, but you're trying to innovate in farming through new technologies. And this aspect has been internationalized, and your products should be of the highest quality and recognized at world level. This is the best example that Europeans have as to how to use tradition as a trampoline toward the future. I was talking about bravery. It has not been easy for you. You have survived a pandemic, a historic drought, Putin's war, and another terrible thing you have survived even. You've even survived Mr. Timmermans. Thanks to your commitment and your capacity to face... The speaker's interrupted. To face these challenges, it has been a tremendous task for you and ourselves. Thank you for commitment and capacity to face adversity encountered in Europe and making Europe more alive than it ever was before. Thanks for making us be able to enjoy 3 meals a day and maybe snacks, and this Spanish tradition, which is sobremesa, like the desserts. Europe owes you a debt, and for this reason, the EPP is and will continue to be your spokesperson in Brussels. You can count on our support and our defense of your interests to make sure that you can be sure that we will continue to count on you, working to achieve more competitive and innovating farming, and we will try to make sure that more and more young people join the rural world, not with resignation, but with resolution, and thinking in terms of having a long-term opportunity for prosperity, as you are doing now. I encourage you to continue working together for Europe, the European rural areas. You have a great opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Zoida Alvarez. I now leave the floor to Mrs. Michaela Shodrova, Czech MEP and member also active of the Agri Committee. Please take the floor.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues, dear guests, especially young farmers. There is honor and big opportunity to have you here in the European Parliament. Especially, I would like to welcome State Secretary of the Croatia Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Zdravko Tušek. So welcome. It's the fourth time that I participate and I host this event because I see concrete contribution and results, especially looking in this room full of the young farmers. I am sure that you are the future of European agriculture. And I'm happy that there is also a strong Czech delegation. So now let me switch to my mother tongue. So please take your handset.
Dear colleagues, we've gathered here because we realize what the situation in agriculture is these days, and we, the EPP here at the European Parliament, want to improve this situation. I don't want to list all the known facts, because we all do realize what you're facing, or at least we're partially aware of what you're facing, and what we want to hear from you today are your further comments and remarks. I would like to point out several measures, however, that already are in place, that are very meaningful, and with which we need to improve our implementation. We do have the 3% of direct payments allocated in the first pillar for farmers up to the age of 40. I do realize this represents a substantial aid, but the feedback that I'm getting is that this aid is limited. Perhaps here you could enlighten us as to how to help better. Secondly, there are the investments in new technologies, animal welfare, supporting robotization, making the heavy labor easier, and all kinds of ecological measures. All of these are aspects which are attractive to the younger generations, and we do realize that they could serve as motivation for you. However, this motivation has first pillar as well as second pillar measures allocated from the rural development funds. So we do have the allocations, but the barriers come in the form of red tape, administration. But also there are new measures being introduced that have not been consulted with the farmer public. For example, the proposal for using new genome techniques, which could introduce new breeds into farming with the corresponding characteristics such as disease resistance, pest resistance, climate change, or, for example, with an improved content of vitamins. The EPP has been acting as the modern open party, open towards technological advancements. Innovation is not just an empty phrase to us. It is the way of the future. And it needs to be part and parcel of the measures that we introduce to help our young farmers. And finally, the third area I'd like to focus on is removing red tape. Pointless inspections. And this is all about trust. And I want to stress that. I've been witnessing farmers complaining about the evil Brussels bureaucracy, but at the end, we conclude that it's very often the member states, the ministries, who are the reporting multipliers and inspection multipliers in the field. In other words, most of the bureaucracy appears to be coming from the administrations in the member states, and that's something that we need to focus on as well. Let me say that farmers, and young farmers especially, do have my absolute trust. I am convinced that all of you want to achieve good results through good, honest work. You, the farmers, know that our soil, the water, our landscape, our pollinators, biodiversity, all of these are preconditions for our lives, for your entrepreneurship and our food. There is no single official in the European Commission, there is no Minister of Agriculture who would know this better than you do. I believe that our job, the job of the politicians, is to build on this trust towards you, towards farmers, to make farming prestigious again, to support you, to soldier on, to be happy, to find happiness in your work and to earn a decent wage for it. We are here for you. Let us use this opportunity, this meeting, to have an open debate, to build this trust further. I wish you, our young farmers, the best of luck. I hope that you'll gain as much experience here as you can, and I hope that you will find some of this trust here as well. That you'll see that there is a future for farming in Europe, and that you have in us, in the EPP, your allies in the European Parliament. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for your hard work. I'd like to thank all of my staff, as well as our colleagues Nuno, Ignacio, Herbert, Norbert, and all of our advisors for organizing this Congress today. And to finish off, welcome, make yourselves at home.
Thank you very much, Mr. Šojdrová. And as I said before, among our hosting MEPs, we find also Mr. Herbert Dorfmann, member of Agri Committee, Italian MEP. We will be able to talk to him in a few minutes because we are going to use the app that I mentioned before. And for this reason, I asked to make a swap of seats. I ask our hosting MEPs to sit in the audience to keep on following the Congress. And I invite on the podium Mr. Herbert Dorfmann and Mr. Peter Menderdorf, President of CEJA, the European Council of Young Farmers. Thank you very much for being here with us. As I said before, this year, we found an innovative way to establish an interaction between you, young farmers, your representative, and also members, as you wish, as you prefer, one on the left and one on the right. As I said, we have created this app, Slido, that you can scan with a QR code, and you will find a series of questions. And for each question, you will have different options, and you can choose which answer is the most appropriate in your opinion. Why? Because we believe that no one else in this room can provide a genuine feedback on what young farmer wants, needs, aspiration, and also suggestions for the future. I think that it's easier to show it rather than to explain it. So for example, let's go with the first question that we have prepared, and we will discuss it with our speakers. So if we go with the first question, can we display it on the screen, please? Have you managed? Yeah, in a few seconds. Okay. So for example, this is the first question. What do you think is the biggest obstacles that prevent young people from taking up farming? You have different answers. The first, difficulty in accessing to land, lack of seasonal labor, difficult access to credit, lack of access to knowledge and technical support, low income, excessive bureaucracy in accessing public support. So you have the time to vote. I give you a few seconds more. I feel like who wants to be millionaire? So in a few seconds. Okay, we already see more or less what is leading the way. Okay, stop voting. Okay, in this case, you have voted, the majority have voted for excessive bureaucracy in accessing public support with 57% of the vote. This is a clear answer that I would like to comment with Mr. Menderdorf. So we see that our farmers are giving a clear message. There is so much difficulty, too much bureaucracy. Why is it so difficult for young farmers to start their business? And what's your suggestion to overcome all this bureaucracy?
Yes, thank you very much. First of all, thank you very much for the invitation, also the hosting MEPs and organizations. And when it comes to excessive bureaucracy, I think this was especially the case this year with the new cap being installed. Also on my farm, it came with a significantly increase of administration. Even though we're promised every year that the system will be made less complex, we've never actually seen this happening. And as CEJA, we're really stressing for more clearer and more support on the side of the bureaucracy, but also the low income and the difficulty in access to land are something our members really underline are very crucial in their ability to take over farms in generational renewal. Things we propose in that regard is a better installation aid for young farmers, also in the CAP, but also national schemes or national pension schemes for the older generation to be able to leave the farm. When it comes to access to land, land mobility schemes or land bank are measures we propose that are very helpful for the next generation of young farmers.
Mr. Dorfmann, do you want to add something, maybe you also from your side, about bureaucracy? Because it's true that the new CAP was meant to reduce bureaucracy. This is one of the main objectives of, of the European institutions, to make it easier for farmers to start their activity.
Yes, first of all, good afternoon, and I'm really proud to be again part of the team who organized this Congress, and I would also like to thank to all the people involved in the last months organizing this Congress, also our offices. This is a huge work, so thank you very much. Well, indeed, we spoke also when we decided and we debated this the reform of the common agricultural policy. Bureaucracy was a huge topic. I personally think, the more we have new challenges and new ideas and new things we want to solve with the common agricultural policy, the more we create new bureaucracy. And here I really think we need to reflect about this, and we need to try to look how we can make the things easier. Then it also, as Peter said, this is the first year of implementation of the new policy. I really hope that once we are into the policy, it becomes, or into the system, it becomes easier than it was this year.
So it takes time to see the results, let's say, it would take some time. Let's go with the second question. The second question is, how important do you believe the adoption of modern agricultural technologies is for the success of young farmers? Extremely important. Important, neutral, not important. I give a few seconds to vote for those who haven't done it yet. But it seems that already, again, the answer is pretty clear. So let's close the vote. Well, it happens to be extremely important, Mr. Dorfmann, for young farmers to have access to those technologies. Which role do you think they play in favor of young farmers?
Well, I actually think there's not a huge difference between other sectors of economy and agriculture. Technology is important also in agriculture to remain competitive. I think what's an additional aspect in agriculture is that technology is very much connected with sustainability. And if I look for example, the debates we had in the last months and in the last weeks here in the European Parliament, how to reduce the use of pesticides or plant protection products, one of the keys probably is better technology. Because the plant protection products we need to bring to the plant and not into the air and not on the ground. If I look, for example, to minimum tillage, zero tillage, precision agriculture, this is all things which can create a step forwards on our path towards technology, and I think they are important. Problem is that. We have a lot of farms which are not very huge in Europe, and access to technology is not easy for these farms because technology is expensive. And I think this is our political challenge. We need to give, especially to young people, this technology, or we need to do something to make this technology available. And I fully agree with what Peter said before. I think us in the Common Agricultural Policy, I always say, okay, if we imagine this perfect young farmer, the perfect young farmer, well-educated, innovative, open to technology, with good ideas how to do in agriculture. If I look to the Common Agricultural Policy, this is the perfect policy for this farmer? Or is it rather a policy which is working quite well for people who have a lot of land? And if we think that this is not perfectly working for young, innovative people who need to invest, because normally young people, if they need technology, need to invest, we need to change, or we need to adapt the Common Agricultural Policy towards people who have the need to invest and have the need access to technology in order to be innovative.
Because the access is the most difficult part of that. In your experience, you have the overview of all over Europe. Is it something shared by all farmers across Europe?
Yes, I think this answer is quite obvious, that it is very important, modern agricultural technologies. And let me take chance of this opportunity to also underline that CISA really hopes that the new genomic technique file, which is also a very important agricultural technology for us, is going to be approved hopefully more sooner than later, because it's one of the vital aspects we need for reducing PPPs, for example.
So let's go with the third question. The third question. Which of these solutions do you consider most important to attract more young people to the agricultural sector? Improving the image of the agricultural sector, very long-term credit lines with subsidies rate, national pension schemes that promote intergenerational agricultural transfer, increase the premium for the first installation of young farmers. I give a few seconds more to vote. Again, here it seems we didn't make it on purpose to put the first question as the most popular, but things are changing a bit. But still, okay. Let's close the vote. Okay. Anyway, there is still some changes. Okay, stop it. So the first answer is the most voted. Improving the image of the agricultural sector. Mr. Medunto, what does it mean? What is the perception that young farmers have of their own profession externally?
I think young farmers are very passionate about their own profession, otherwise you won't be entering farming. There are lots of other jobs who are maybe even better in financial way. However, I think a lot of young farmers are worrying about how society is perceiving farming. Farming needs to be gratifying, it needs to be gratifying financially, but also we need to be accepted by society. We're making very long days, working very hard, and then it's very painful to see that a lot of people in society use farmers as scapegoats for a lot of problems, rather than seeing farmers as the solutions, which they are. But also the other three things that are in line, and I think that's also the reason why the vote on this is very divided, is quite vital for young farmers, such as long-term credits and access to finance, pension schemes, but also the installation aid. Yeah.
Still, it's true that sometimes farmers are seen like the ones that are responsible for many things where they are really struggling in their profession. You have met a lot of farmers in your career during in the territories as MEP. Do you also have this feeling when you talk with the farmers?
Yes, I think, unfortunately, also in politics, very often we have a very negative storytelling about farming. And very often also in politics, and not only in politics, also media have the impression everybody is an expert on farming. And I would suggest that people who never worked one day on a farm, they should not speak about farming. This would be a step forward, because sometimes I'm really surprised about what's happening. There's people from the cities, from wherever, speaking about what farmers should do and how farming works, but they do have no idea about this. And I personally think clearly also in politics we need to address the problems which are in the farming world, and not everything is perfect. We do not have here the idea that everything is running perfectly. But we need to be fair. And we need to underline that we have a lot of, as Peter said, passionate, younger and not so young people who work hard from the morning till the evening in order to produce our food. And I personally really think we need a fairer, and this means also more positive storytelling, because if we really want to attract young people, and this will be a key question of next years all over Europe, we cannot expect that somebody is going into a job where he's criticized, he needs to work, and he does not have a high income. Yeah. This does not work. So we need to change this storytelling, and on this I think that everybody, not only in our political group, politicians should, and also media, should understand that this is the storytelling we have sometimes also here in Brussels is not helpful.
Yeah, it's true. This is a point of reflection. The fourth question is, in your opinion, how can young farmers contribute to environmental sustainability in agriculture? Improve the irrigation system for a better water management, using renewable energy resources, implementing crop rotation, embracing organic farming methods. Yeah, we were speaking before about sustainability, so I keep on giving you a few seconds to vote. Okay, people are still voting. We said that the farmers are crucial in fighting climate change. Okay, close the vote. And indeed, among the questions, the answers, the most popular was one of the ways to contribute to environmental sustainability is improving the irrigation system for a better water management. Okay, this is a very interesting point. How, Mr. Dorfmann, how can farmers match the environmental ambitions with farming realities? Because we know that they have to balance also to make the activity profitable and efficient, resilient. How would you comment on that?
Well, I think this question is quite tricky, because I think sustainability is not one direction. Sustainability, or there are a lot of actions which then bring to sustainability. And first of all, well, I guess we speak about, and it's written, environmental sustainability. You say, what means sustainable? Sustainable means to go on in the long, or be able to go on in the long term without destroying the soil or destroying the water or whatever. And this you can, to do this, you need a lot, or you need to combine measures, and I think all of them are important ones. So I personally think we need to have a look in agriculture to have less input for the same output. And sometimes we make the mistake to think that we can have less input, but also less output. And if we do this, we will not be able to produce the food we need in Europe. And we need to buy our food somewhere else. And this, at the end, I do not consider really sustainable. I think we should try to find solutions on water, on energy, also on organic farming, on crop rotations, and a lot of other things, reducing fertilizers, reducing plant protection products, going into zero tillage, for example, or precision agriculture. There's a lot of measures which at the end can bring farming where you use less input, and this is in the interest of the farmer, because most of these inputs are costly. If I think to fertilizers, to plant protection products, they are costly. So it's also a question of competitiveness, and at the same time have an output, because I think we need to produce in Europe. It's part of our duty, also our sovereignty, maybe in Europe, to produce enough food for our 450 million people in Europe. And I always say, okay, if we make a simple calculation, this is more or less 1,000 billion calories a day. And this we need to produce.
And Mr. Middendorf, do you share the same vision about sustainability?
Yes, most certainly. And when I'm looking at the answers and especially the first three, I think a lot of young farmers are already using a lot of these measures. And indeed, sustainability is much wider than the options given. So therefore, yeah, I can only underline what Mr. Dorfman said.
Let's go with the fifth question. How would you rate the availability of education and training programs for young farmers? Good, fair, poor, excellent. I give you a few seconds more to vote. That's an interesting point because education is a crucial part for farmers to learn and upskilling already their activity and the way also to manage the business. Okay, let's close the vote. And the answer is they rate pretty good the education and training programs for young farmers. I would like to ask Mr. Middendorf, what do young farmers need concretely in terms of training to really improve their skills, and which are the European programs available for young farmers at the moment to, get this upskilling?
Well, I think, first of all, the answers are very well explainable by the fact that young farmers are better and better educated than ever before. Something that could be improved when it comes to training programs is training programs after high school education or university education, so further up more in the career. Especially when it comes to new innovations, it is very handy to have a training program around certain innovations, so it's also applicable when we're talking about skills and knowledge, these specific innovations on farm level.
So is there something that can be also improved at European level to provide a cross-wide training for farmers? In your experience, talking to also farmers that probably brought to you this topic?
Well, I fully agree with Peter. I think well-prepared farmers, this is not only in the interest of the farmers, it's in the interest of the society, because producing food is a very serious thing. Food is a serious thing, and we need farmers who know how to do this job, how to produce nutritious, safe food. Well, education for sure is competence of our member states. What we should do more, I think, is to support exchange programs. I think we assisted very successfully in the last decades in programs like Erasmus for university students. I think it would be make a lot of sense to insist or to support exchange programs, especially also in the agricultural educational system, because I think it would be really interesting also for young farmers to go around Europe, see other realities, other colleagues working different conditions on different farms, because farming in Europe, we have very, very different products, very different types of agriculture. I think this could be an initiative we should support more on a European level.
Absolutely, like networking and, knowing other realities is always good. Sixth question. What barriers do young farmers face in accessing markets for their agricultural products? Price volatility, competition from larger established farmers, limited transportation infrastructure, lack of market information. I give you a few seconds more to vote. And again, you already see that there is a trend, that the first answer is always the most popular. Okay, close the vote. Yeah, price volatility seems to be the biggest barrier for young farmers in accessing the markets for their agricultural products. Mr. Dorfman, which policies should be designed in order to improve market access for agricultural products coming from young farmers?
Well, price volatility is for sure a problem not only for young farmers, it's a problem for agriculture as a whole. We tried also with the last Common Agricultural Policy to find some answers in our insurance system. This can be an approach. Somehow also I think also the policy, the payments in the Common Agricultural Policy, they are in a certain way also, let's say, creating a minimum, or want to create a minimum income in order to do something against price volatility. I personally think if it comes to access on markets for young farmers, as I said, the whole topic is an important topic for agriculture. Maybe it's less a problem for young farmers than for not so young farmers, because I see a lot of young farmers who are very innovative on this. They are looking for new access to market. They are looking access on internet, for example, on street markets. There's a lot of new innovative ways how to come out, how to access market, how to address the consumer. And I see also here in the city, I see a lot of young farmers who are very innovative on this.
And Mr. Medendorf, what's your take on that? This is the last question.
Yes, I think this also very much touches upon why the sustainable transition in agriculture is so hard, because of the lack of financial support, but also the price volatility. When you make a sustainable investment as a young farmer, you make investments in the collective without a very good return on investment, at least a short term on investments. This in combination with limited market access makes these investments very risky. And we should collectively work together to make this market situation for young farmers better if we really want to help this generation of young farmers become more sustainable.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Medendorf, Mr. Dorfmann, for your participation in this conversation. I really hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for this exchange. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. You had some foods for thought for the future. Before getting into the core of this Congress, which is the presentation of the 13 projects that are running for the prize, I just wanted to remind you, in the meanwhile, that after this Congress, there will be a reception that will be held at Rue Belliard 40. Okay, so we hope to see you after this Congress at the reception. Just a quick reminder. It's near the Parliament, not very far, so it's very easy to reach. So let's go back to our program. I would like to invite on the podium our two organizers that made possible the organization of the event, Mr. Pedro Barato and Mr. Luis Mira. They are from CAP, Luis Mira, Secretary General of CAP, the Portuguese Confederation of Farmers, and Pedro Barato, President of ASAJA, the Spanish Association of Farmers. This initiative couldn't be possible without their help and their organization. And that's why I would like you to know better a bit more what they're doing, what's their vision for the future of the agriculture, and also what the organizations are doing their daily work to support young farmers. Mr. Luis Mira, I would like to ask you, what is your message today to young farmers, given also all the challenges that we have mentioned, also during the conversation we just had with our speakers?
Boa tarde a todos.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'll be speaking Portuguese. Now, before my statement, I would like to express my gratitude to various people. Firstly, I am grateful to young European farmers who, year after year, have continued to present their projects, which they're rolling out on their holdings. And all of this just goes to show how resilient the farming sector actually is. Even in times of tremendous uncertainty and hardship, people on farmings are lending dignity to European farming. Farmers are producing high-quality foodstuffs to the highest food safety standards, complying with the most stringent environmental standards. For all of the farmers who are present and for all the farmers at home, I greatly admire you. Thank you. I'm thankful also to the EPP for their interest, dedication and support for farming and for providing support for incoming generations. And thank you for holding this Congress. I absolutely must thank our partners, CropLife Europe. Since the first time this Congress was held, you've supported us. Also, Fertilisers Europe continues to support European agriculture. And thank you likewise to McDonald's, who've joined us this year and are set to carry on. Thank you likewise to the juries of the various institutions, for example, the Commission, COPA, ELO, SES, the Agri Committee in the EP, and special thanks to Norbert for heading up this team. I'm very proud to be part of the history of this Congress, which came into being in 2012 and has rattled on even through the C-19 pandemic. We came up with alternative ways of dealing with this topic in a dignified manner. The Congress plays an important role, bringing together young farmers in the political heart of Europe, whilst promoting healthy competition among projects, whilst encouraging people to exchange experiences. We must never neglect the fact that without young farmers, agriculture would not have a future, and without a strong farming sector, the European project will fade away. Europe's initial project was to feed European citizens. We must never forget this fact. We are reaching a time when nutrition and food will once again play an important role due to the price foodstuffs will reach. And I would like to sound a warning bell to MEPs. Europe is imposing restrictions on output, but tread carefully here. We may be close to a cliff edge. And a role must be played here by the European Parliament, because it plays an important political role in setting environmental standards without correctly gauging the trickle-down effect of these standards. What's more, we've got a lot ahead of us to hone the CAP when it comes to supporting young people. Mention has already been made of red tape, but we must be successful and efficient in girding our efforts for the future, in the future rollout of EU policies for young farmers. Thus, in Portugal, my association and other bodies are conducting a study on how young farmers have set up shop in the past 10 years, seeing whether they stay in the sector, and if not, for what reasons they left. We also looked at their success factors. Europe has not really looked at the past when it has designed policies for the future. Therefore, Europe must appreciate that a problem cannot be solved by throwing money at it. That's not a good way of going about things. We must pinpoint what the right path is to embark upon in Europe and Portugal. Now, there's a challenge for other member states to conduct this very same exercise. Of course, problems may differ from country to country, but in future we want to be able to assertively and constructively design efficient policies. To round off, and since this is the 9th holding of this Congress, I would like to express special thanks to Nuno Melo. Along with his team, they have supported this initiative from the get-go. And I must send a message of hope to all of those who've plumped to enter the farming sector, particularly those present here. People may leave many things behind. During COVID, people couldn't go to the cinema, for example. But we human beings cannot live without oxygen, without water, without foodstuffs. European citizens must recall that it is farmers who produce these assets: oxygen, air and food. That's where agriculture's clout lies, and that's where farmers, young farmers, wield real clout. That's my major take-home message. So this is something young farmers should never forget. Farming is the most important activity.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mira. I also would like to welcome Mr. Barato. I know that you also would like to give your points of reflection and your message to not only European farmers, but also all people that are here and that are working in the agricultural sector. So please take the floor.
Bien, buenas tardes.
Good afternoon. First and foremost, as my colleague from Portugal just pointed out, we are the hosts and we spent a great deal of time working together to organise this Young Farmers Congress in the EP. Thank you very much indeed to the European People's Party, because without them this Congress would not have been feasible at all. And special thanks to those who like Thoido, Melo and Michaela, who've been with us consistently. And thank you for the work you've been conducting. It's hard work organising a congress like this, but it's very important that we explain our demands and problems to the Parliament. In our organisation in Spain, this is the kind of work we do every day. In Asaka, we bring together farmers, and we have consistently supported young farmers. I've got a number of thoughts to cast out. I've been given food for thought by the questions posed, but before getting to the nitty-gritty, I'd like to cast out some general thoughts for your delectation. Do we need to do less or do more? It really is up to us to act. Farmers are very resilient. They're tough folk, and farmers must tell the EU institutions clearly that they cannot lose out thanks to red tape. Mr. Mira agrees with me, I'm sure. It's better to do nothing rather than doing something which involves unwieldy bureaucracy. Also, we've got a fresh CAP. It's only been knocking around for 2 years. But this CAP, it was designed in 2020. It's now 2023, and it will run out in 2027. Something's awry if you can't even comply with your own timetable. The CAP was meant to involve less red tape. We had greening, which was swapped out for these much vaunted schemes. Before greening, we practically had to do zilch. Now, if you want to tap into the eco schemes, you have to fork out. Something's clearly awry, and farmers are not being helped, particularly young farmers. Mention was made here of sustainability. Let's get down to brass tacks. That's fine, but without profitability, there will be no sustainability. Therefore, to our mind, it's important to do everything we possibly can, everything we're told to do. Fair enough. But if under the CAP we have more things to do with less dough, well, that's not going to fly, is it? Next, as I see it, in Europe, some decisions being made have not borne in mind what Mr. Miller just pointed out. And under COVID, we couldn't go to football matches, we couldn't drive around, we couldn't go to the theatre. But you can't mess about with food. Mr. Theurer pointed it out just now. Mr. Timmermans put away his report in the dusty drawer. He didn't want it exposed to the public gaze. We cannot have sustainable agriculture in the future if everything is banned. We've got restrictions bearing down on us. Just think about glyphosate. That was to the benefit of the Commission and other political personages. Well, they really milked that one for all it was worth. I think it is pivotal that via your organisations and via the Young Farmers Association in Europe, THECA, we need to work with those who want to work with us, because there are MEPs who want to play ball with us. Let's pool our efforts and lift the lid on the schemes of those who want to whittle away at agriculture in Europe, supporting big companies elsewhere who are producing to lower standards, thereby endangering something as important as stock breeding and cereal farming. Please do convey this message to your governments that they also need to act. They've got a lot on their plate, but the future lies in the hands of young farmers, capital Y, capital F. We've got hard work to do to get people to enter the sector. If they fail to do so, people will work elsewhere, but there will be no farming. I would encourage you, year after year, to keep reminding people of what you're up to, what your projects are. If you're, you need to invest in the very fabric of society, so that we can have a decent level of prosperity and health. We should be the best at this in Europe.
Thank you very much. I think it was really clear messages, strong messages. Thank you very much. I would kindly ask you to stay here with me, because we are going through the core of this Congress, which is showing the 13 projects that are running for the prize awarded by this Congress. They have in common innovation, sustainability, and continuity with local traditions in many cases. Let me explain you how we are going to proceed, because the projects that you have submitted have been divided in 3 categories. Each category highlights the main feature of innovation for each project. I'm going to describe and tell you what these categories are about. The first category is Best Digital Project. And in this category fit all those projects who have adopted or disseminated new technologies and or farming practices. The second category of this prize is Most Resilient Project. And in this category fit those projects that present the ability to withstand and recover from external conditions and external shocks, like, for example, also the adaptation to climate change. The third category is Best Project on Improving Rural Areas. And this category covers the project that shows how they can have an impact at social, environmental, and economical level to local communities and rural areas. So let's start by presenting the first category, which is Best Digital Project. The first project comes from Czech Republic, where Matej Sklenar has introduced artificial intelligence in greenhouse horticulture. The MEP ambassador for this project is Mrs. Šojdrová, who I invite to introduce the video with a short presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for me to introduce a remarkable Czech young farmer, Matej Sklenar. I had the privilege of personally visiting Matej's farm. He and his family grow tomatoes, strawberries, fruits, and vegetable. What amazed me was the cutting-edge technology. Vegetables and fruits are cultivated in hydroponics, in greenhouses with robotics and artificial intelligence. The Rajecek farm has old family roots, but I am convinced that with Matej and his family, the farm has a bright future. I hope we as EPP, we will continue to support this kind of progressive farming. Instead of a long speech, I prefer to show you the story from the source. So let's watch a video recorded at Rajecek farm in Brno. Thank you for your attention. So welcome and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's watch the video together.
The name of our farm is Farma Rajecek, which in translation means paradise, and it is located in the second largest city, Brno in Czech Republic. Our farm is focused on growing of lettuce, tomato, and recently also strawberries. I work at the farm as an agronomist. That means I take care of plants in a greenhouse, and in total there work around 20 people. The philosophy of our farm is to produce good food and to be like good example for society. We are active in our region. We cooperate with startups. We do excursions for universities, for schools, and also we are offering our products in our own grocery store where people can reach to us. Part of my motivation is the legacy in our family, because we are farming for generations. But what I really like and enjoy is to combine technologies with agriculture, and I'm really thrilled to see the outcome. Recently we have started on development of a robot that can search for pests and diseases in tomatoes. The main task of the robot is to check every single plant in our greenhouse. There are around 40,000 plants, and the robot can check them every day, every single plant. It knows the information about the leaves, about the fruits. For the evaluation of the results, the robot is using artificial intelligence, and if it finds any problem, it reports it directly to me, so that I can cure the problem without use of pesticides. Our farm is the first one in Europe who was able to combine IT world with farming and come up with an autonomous robotic platform that we are using every day in our greenhouse, and I believe that we can inspire others too.
Thank you. Great. Very nice. Let's go on with the second project coming from Germany. Here, Paul Markus has started a useful collaboration with the Fireman Brigade to support his rural community. The MEP ambassador for this project is Mrs. Christine Schneider, who I invite to give a short presentation of the video. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm very, very proud to be able to nominate a candidate from my constituency. It's Markus Paul from Steinfeld in Palatina in Germany. And he's submitting a great project called the Red Farmers. In these current times, we all have the pictures of terrible forest fires for our eyes, and fighting forest fires is fundamental to preserving biodiversity and our rural areas. And I'm delighted that agriculture is once again important part of the solution. The Red Farmers project is about cooperation between fire services and agricultures, and farmers are to support the fire service in rural areas in an emergency, for example, with tankers or other equipments. And Mr. Pau set up a technical platform for this in order to improve networking between firefighters and farmers. This project is a great idea, and I'm very grateful for the commitment of Markus Paul and other young farmers. It would not working without you. Thank you so much for your work.
Let's watch the video now.
Im Dezember findet der 9. Europäische Kongress der Young Farmers statt. Und es werden dabei besondere Projekte von Junglandwirtinnen und Junglandwirten aus ganz Europa geehrt. Und ich bin total stolz darauf, dass es mir in diesem Jahr gelungen ist, einen Kandidaten zu stellen. Markus Paul, er kommt aus Steinfeld, aus der Südpfalz, und er bringt ein großartiges Projekt mit dem Namen Red Farmers. Bei dem Projekt geht es um die Zusammenarbeit zwischen Feuerwehr und Landwirtschaft. Im Ernstfall sollen Landwirte die Feuerwehr in ländlichen Regionen unterstützen, beispielsweise mit Tankwägen oder anderem Equipment. Ich finde das Projekt einfach klasse und bin dankbar, dass ich das Engagement von Markus Paul auch anderen jungen Landwirtinnen und Landwirte vorstellen kann. Denn ohne euch geht es nicht.
Ich bin Markus Paul, 26 Jahre alt, aus Steinfeld, und zusammen mit meinen Eltern und meiner Schwester bewirtschaften wir 170 Hektar in der schönen Südpfalz. Als landwirtschaftlicher Gemischbetrieb ist bei uns von Ackerbau, Weinbau und Gemüsebau alles dabei. Dafür braucht es natürlich auch Gerätschaften wie diesen Traktor mit Wagenumfass. Mit der zunehmenden Waldbrandgefahr in der Region und Ereignissen wie der Flutkatastrophe im Ahrtal wurde uns allen bewusst, wie sehr wir aufeinander angewiesen sind. Auch wir Bauern wollen unseren Teil dazu beitragen, weshalb wir mit dem Projekt Red Farmer die lokalen Feuerwehren mit unserem schweren Gerät unterstützen wollen. Damit die Feuerwehren auch wissen, welche Geräte wo vorhanden sind, haben wir ein Online-Register eingeführt, in dem alle Geräte aufgelistet sind. Auch mein Wagenumfass ist dort zu finden und der genaue Standort ebenfalls. Was im Jahr 2022 auf Landkreisebene regional anfing, ist inzwischen deutlich gewachsen und stößt auf reges Interesse. Trotzdem wünschen wir uns mehr Aufmerksamkeit und Unterstützung, um solche Hilfsangebote in die Fläche zu bringen. Als Landwirte wissen wir, wie wichtig der regionale Zusammenhalt ist, und diesen Gedanken wollen wir unbedingt auch mit unserem bisher privaten Projekt Red Farmer weitertragen. Bisher sind rund 40 Bäuerinnen und Bauern dabei und ca. 40 Feuerwehren haben Interesse an den Daten, um dies weiter ausbauen zu können. Vielleicht bist du der oder die Nächste bei den Red Farmer.
And now we go to Italy to meet Andreas Bichler, a young farmer from Nats. This territory in the South Tyrol region is famous for high-quality production of apples, and the project is about the use of technology to implement precision farming. Thanks to a software, he can use a phone or a GoPro camera to scan the orchard and understand what they need to grow better. Let's watch the video together.
Ich bin Andreas Bichler vom Baumgartnerhof in Nats. Wir betreiben da Obst- und Weinbau. Also als Obstbauer arbeitet man eigentlich einen großen Teil vom Jahr daran, die Anzahl an Früchten zu optimieren. Von der Blütenausdünnung zur Handausdünnung über zum Baumschnitt. Dabei muss man sich auf langjährige Erfahrung, Intuition und groben Schätzungen stützen. Das ist nicht immer leicht, vor allem mit den neuen Sorten und den sich verändernden klimatischen Bedingungen. Wir haben ein System entwickelt, was mit einfachen Handykameras und Actionkameras funktioniert und die Information pro Baum bereitstellen kann. Also das Ganze funktioniert so, dass man mit einem Handy oder GoPro an einen Traktor befestigt, ein Video von der Anlage aufnimmt. Das Video loadet man dann in die Cloud und dort wird es dann von Bilderkennungsmodellen dank künstlicher Intelligenz verarbeitet und liefert am Ende in einer Übersichtskarte die Anzahl der Blüten, Blätter, Früchte pro Baum. Das ganze Projekt läuft dann unter dem Namen Naturamond. Vorteile von dem System sind ein verbessertes Erntemanagement bei der Blütenausdünnung. Wenn man die stark blühenden Bäume stärker ausdünnt, dann kriegt man einen Wachstumsvorsprung und es hat einen größeren Druck am Ende vom Jahr zur Folge. Man kann Alternanzvorbeugung und Bekämpfung durch einen gezielten Baumschnitt im Winter durchführen und man kann gezielt durchdüngen, wo die Nährstoffe dem Boden entnommen worden sind und arbeitet damit umweltfreundlicher und kosteneffizienter. Wir planen einen Ausbau zu einem Krankheits- und Schädlingsmonitoring-System und auch einer Umsetzung im Weinbau. Das langfristige Ziel war, dass man am Ende die Daten nicht als Information nutzt, sondern sie direkt im Traktor einspeist, damit der Seil damit automatisiert arbeiten kann. Wenn man es schafft, die optimale Anzahl an Früchten pro Baum zu kriegen, dann hat man am Ende auch die beste Qualität und den besten Geschmack.
And now we travel to Spain for our last project in this category, and we meet José Luis Alonso Zaragoza and his cheese factory. The MEP ambassador for this project is Juan Ignacio Soy Alvarez. I invite you to give you a short presentation.
Muchas gracias.
Thanks very much. Firstly, thank you to the head of the Spanish delegation of the EPP in the European Parliament. Thank you to her for joining us. Thank you to Alejandra for the work you've done to make this feasible. And also Iban, who's a trainee. It's a great honour to present this Spanish project. Just so you know, there are many Spaniards at the back of the room. The initiative conducted by José Luis Alonso from Asturias is a landmark not only for Spain but for Europe as a whole. José Luis is one of just 3 manufacturers of a specific cheese. This is a cheese which has a protected denomination. It's one of the finest cheeses in Europe, and it's produced in the Picos de Europa mountain range at an elevation of 1 kilometre, with all the problems that involves. Harsh weather and slopes. The cheese is matured in caves, and wolves have killed 20 head of José's cattle. José has been producing Gamoneo cheese with advanced technology, using solar panels and using GPS trackers to protect his animals. That's a culinary and logistical miracle. And José Luis really has guts. And just have a butchers at this video.
Me llamo José Luis Alonso, soy el propietario de la quesería Uberdón. Hago queso gamonú del puerto, en los lagos de Covadonga. Me dedico al queso gamonú porque me viene ya de familia, por parte de mis abuelos, de toda la vida, y porque me gusta. El queso mío pues lleva 3 leches, de vaca, cabra y oveja. El día a día es, pues me levanto por la mañana, ordeño las vacas, después que termino de ordeñar las vacas, ordeño las ovejas y después las cabras. Que este queso se siga viendo en la cueva y se pueda seguir haciendo, afuera pasan muchas cosas que la gente no ve en el mundo rural. Para hacer queso, para que este queso llegue aquí, tiene que pasar un año entero otra vez, ¿me entiendes? Desde que sabes, empiezas ahora hasta que vuelvas a empezar la siguiente temporada el año que viene, pasa mucho tiempo, los animales dan un trabajo y es una rutina diaria, es todo el año, aquí no hay vacaciones.
La historia de José Luis es la de una vocación que tuvo clara desde niño. Siempre quiso seguir los pasos de su abuelo, Paulino Alonso, subir el ganado a los puertos y hacer allí queso gamoneo. Cuando tenía 22 años, José Luis consiguió hacer realidad ese sueño y se trasladó con su ganado a la majada de Gumartini, cercana a los lagos de Covadonga, después de estar varios veranos haciendo pruebas en la cabaña que su abuelo tenía en Uberdón. El 1 de junio de 2017, a las 8 de la mañana, inició una caminata de varias horas con sus animales desde Gamonedo de Cangas de Onís para llegar a Gumartini. Aquel día su abuelo confesaba que tuvo que dejar de hacer queso en el puerto por los ataques del lobo a la reciella y que tenía miedo de que a su nieto le pasara lo mismo. José Luis, el más joven de los 4 pastores que aún mantienen sus rebaños en picos de Europa y que hacen queso en las majadas, se ha convertido en un defensor de la importancia de los ganaderos para mantener los ecosistemas, así como del necesario control de la población de lobos para evitar la extinción de los pastores. Encarna la reivindicación del potencial del mundo rural asturiano y del papel clave que los jóvenes juegan en un nuevo futuro para los pueblos. Por su maestría quesera ya ha recibido numerosos galardones. El último le llegó el pasado mes de junio. Fue el Premio Nacional de Gastronomía, Talento Joven Alimentos de España, que concede la Real Academia de Gastronomía.
Okay, these were the projects falling in the Best Digital Project category. The second category, as I said, is Most Resilient Project, and all these video and projects are dealing with a new innovative way to withstand with external shocks, among which also, as we said, climate change, but not only. The first project that I would like to introduce you comes from Greece, where Kustoradi Argyro cultivates aromatic plants and herbs in the island of Chios. I invite the MEP ambassador for this project, Mr. Manolis Kefalogiannis, to give a short presentation of the video.
Dear colleagues, dear participants, many thanks to EPP for organizing this event, the 9th European Young Farmers Congress, and many thanks to the distinguished members of the European Parliament who hosted this event. I would like to mention the name Nino Mello, Herbert Dorfman, Jan Alvarez, Michaela Sodrava, and of course our chairman Manfred Weber. And as ambassador for Greece, I would like to present the chairman for the Panhellenic Union of Young Farmers PENA, Nikos Pavlonasios, who is with us, coordinator for the young farmers in Greece, and of course the Greek candidate for this year, Kutsuradi Argyro, who focus on aromatic plants and herbs, cultivate 15 species of aromatic plants. Her enterprise based in Chios Island, in the eastern Greece, the eastern border of Europe, and the name he chose is Mirophilos Organics, great smell organics, and I wish her the best of the luck. I wish the great success for all the candidates. Thank you.
Let's watch the video.
My name is Kutsuradi Argyro. In 2010, I entered Democritus University of Thrace School of Agriculture Department of Agricultural Development. My studies on aromatic plants and herbs were a source of inspiration for my future career. In 2015, I went to the University Lille II in Lille, France, as an Erasmus exchange student, and I carried out a research about the effect of spearmint extract on the reduction of the levels of juvenile diabetes. It was then when I pursued my master's studies at the Agricultural University of Athens in Department of Plant Production in the field of agriculture. Our love for Chios Island, our desire to protect its nature and plants, along with our motivation to create employment opportunities, led us to establish Myrovolos Organics, a name which was inspired by the abundant and fascinating smell of Chios Island nature. Our company Myrovolos Organic ran as a family business in the field of aromatic plants and herbs. My family was not involved in the primary sector, so we create a unit from production to processing and product standardization. We combine traditional methods with modern technology to produce unique products of high quality. The unique climate, the soil, the clean environment of our island, combined with our certified organic practices, guarantee high-quality herbs with abundant taste and essential oil. The fact that we have a complete vertically integrated process of production allows us to have the absolute control and responsibility for the quality of our products from the initial stage of planting the herbs in the fields up to the final packaging for that the consumers receive. Initially, we started with 10 acres in our possession, which were soon extended to the 24 acres and have recently reached 40 acres with the aim to further expand according to the needs of our consumers. All our plants originate from an organically certified seedbed, and our company complies with the criteria of organic farming in all steps of the production process. We cultivate 15 species of aromatic plants and herbs like oregano, sage, thyme, pennyroyal, spearmint, laurel, lavender, pickled samphire, and pickled caper. In 2018, we received an award from Chios Chamber of Commerce for being an innovative business from the island of Chios, made through our try to encourage other young people and the primary sector to be renewed with young, scientifically qualified young people. Regarding financing and to be able to proceed with the modernization of our company, we received some European products which help us, such as the program of Young Farmer, improvement plans, and program of Leader. We are currently present almost all in Greece, 7 European countries, as well as in the USA and Dubai. Our main target is the creation of high-quality, organically certified innovative products combined with local products like Chios mustard and Chios mandarin, which will satisfy the need of the most demanding customers, not only in Greece, but also abroad. Thank you.
And now, if you like pistachio, you will be interested in hearing more about the project coming from our Portuguese applicant, Inés Margarida Marques Lopes Correa Figueira. I invite Duarte Mira, head of Brussels office at CAP, to present the video.
Since Nuno Melo isn't in the room, I will present this project. Inés Lopes' project involves 100 hectares in a great region of Portugal. She cultivates pistachio, and she also breeds black pigs. Inés will flesh this out in the video. We produce some of the best projects in Europe. We produce an excellent cocktail, which you'll be able to sample soon.
Sou a Inês Marques Lopes, tenho 29 anos, sou engenheira agrónoma e vivo em Arreolos. Esta herdade de Val de Figueiras foi adquirida em 2021 e quando chegámos estava completamente cheia de mato e ao abandono. Hoje em dia temos pistácio, 40 hectares em modo de produção convencional. É uma cultura que não é invasiva e é adequada ao clima e ao sol. temos 55 hectares montados de azinho, onde iremos receber 100 porcos alentejanos, de raça alentejana, que serão criados em modo de produção biológico. Desde que começámos o projeto, preparámos a terra, incluindo a desmatação do terreno, que foi um trabalho árduo. Instalámos o sistema de rega, construímos um armazém de apoio agrícola e plantámos o pistácio. Implementámos também sondas de umidade, uma estação meteorológica, temos um pulverizador com sonar que nos permite debitar menos de 200 litros por hectare de calda. Trabalhamos ainda com algumas empresas do setor agrícola, nomeadamente empresas de agricultura de precisão e outras que nos ajudaram muito com a parte dos serviços de ecossistemas. Temos também trabalhado com bastantes empresas de prestação de serviços da zona. Para além dos empregos a tempo inteiro, temos também os nossos próprios empregos a tempo parcial e para além disto somos um casal jovem que se mudou para um território de baixa densidade e já estamos também a tentar contrariar essa tendência. Neste momento temos um modelo de negócios e esperamos receitas no futuro. O que existia anteriormente era uma propriedade ao abandono. Podia não dizer que é a paixão pelo campo, mas seria mentira. É o facto de gostar muito do campo e de ter escolhido o campo como local para criar família e viver o resto da vida.
We have a strong Portuguese delegation. And from Portugal we go to Romania, where we meet Florin Stegariu, who has kept the family tradition but also set his own winery. The MEP ambassador for this project is Mr. Daniel Buda, who I invite to give a presentation of the project.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to welcome everyone here to the European Parliament, to this decision-making area, and I would like to say something to all of the farmers that we, the Agri Committee, we have their back. We are very aware of the difficulties that they're faced with, and we are very much aware how important it is to guarantee food security. What can I tell you about Florin Stegariu? I could tell you a lot about him. He is a young man that, if we didn't have him, we would have had to invent him. We would like to have someone like him everywhere, in every European country. He's a young man who, first he studied law, but in the end he decided to go into agriculture and carry on the family tradition that for 3 generations has dealt with wine production, and he managed to put together a system for valorification of wines and grapes, and he's won 40 awards in London, Brussels, and everywhere in Europe. His farm has managed to implement something that we talk about here in the European Parliament, these new technologies that allow us to combat climate change, but also use pesticides in a sustainable way, and water, especially through the system of irrigation that he set up. I'd like to wish him and everyone else a lot of success and to assure you of our support. Thank you.
Together.
I am Florin Stegariu, and I come from a family of farmers who have cultivated the tradition of viticulture for generations. I am grateful to have grown up on the farm, in the terroir of origin. My grandfather and great-grandfather were skilled winemakers, and my parents, as farmers, laid the foundation for my passion for the land. Strunga village is in the heart of Moldova, Romania, in Iași County. It was a tourist resort known for its mineral waters and therapeutic properties. attracting thousands of visitors annually until 1989, with 5 hotels at that time. Today, sadly, our winery is the only tourist attraction. In 2013, at 21, I started my own path, establishing 2 vineyards over 90 hectares with European funds. The beginnings were humble and challenging, but the desire to put Strunga on the map of quality wines drove me. In 2017, I produced my first wines, exploring the potential of the soil and future direction. Initially lacking the necessary winemaking equipment and not known in the Romanian wine market, we managed to grow both in quality and quantity each year. We continually reinvented ourselves, despite challenges like the pandemic, climate changes, and rising raw material costs. We relied on creativity and innovation for adaptation. Each year we invest in technological and innovative systems. From producing 60,000 liters of wine with limited storage in 2017, we increased to a production capacity of 700,000 liters annually thanks to our technology investments and European funds. Today, we have all the necessary equipment and technology to produce the highest quality wines. We are present in over 400 restaurants in Romania, online, and in 3 national retailers, and we export to several European countries. We are proud to have 6 distinct brands in the market, each with its own character and personality, having won over 40 national and international medals at prestigious competitions. By enhancing the region's reputation through the quality of our wines, local products, and tourism potential, Strunga was officially declared a viticultural tourist area of national interest in 2023. This has increased the region's recognition and reputation nationally, and we hope internationally over time. Incorporating the farm-to-fork concept, our winery has become more than a tasting venue. It's an example of ecological responsibility and sustainability. Using products from our farm and other local producers, the winery offers a unique gastronomic experience where each ingredient tells its journey from farm to visitor's table. My deepest wish is to leave behind a valuable legacy, to pass on the key to future generations, just as the passion for agriculture and viticulture was passed down to me. Strunga aims to be a true tourist zone where wines and farm products will offer a positive and exceptional image of rural Romania.
And we move from Romania to Slovenia to meet Anton Grobenlik, a young farmer who is producing and sells a variety of top-quality meat products. The MEP ambassador for this project is Mr. Franz Bogovic, who I invite to give a short presentation. Thank you.
Hvala za besedo.
Thank you for giving me the floor. I am extremely proud that I can, as a Slovenian ambassador, introduce you to Anton Grobenlik, our young farmer. He is an innovative young farmer that was also awarded in Slovenia as being the innovative young farmer in 2023. He lives in the Slovenian village of Galicia. The Association of Slovenian Rural Youth elects who the young farmer is going to be, and that is organized together with the Agricultural Chamber of Slovenia. So this year Anton was awarded, and I would like to send my greetings to all of these representatives. Anton Grobenlik is now the owner of the farm who was in the hands of the previous generations. For 3 generations, he is a producer of high-quality meat products, and he is also involved in meat processing and sales. But allow me to be a little bit innovative ourselves here. I would like to give Tony a few minutes to say a few sentences to welcome everyone and to introduce his project. I will be the moderator for a few seconds and will give Tony the word if you allow me to. Hello, I would like to welcome everyone. I am very honored to be able to represent my home country, Slovenia. Despite the fact that we are quite small, we are very innovative in agriculture. I would also like to thank Mr. Bogovic and everyone here to be able to present the story of our farm here in the European Parliament.
Thank you very much. Let's watch the video.
Anton Grobelnik, slovenski mladi inovativni kmet, stavi na sodelovanje in povezovanje na podeželju. Uvaja nove metode pri reji živali, kakor tudi pri pripravi kvalitetnih mesnih izdelkov, ki jih v ekološki embalaži prodaja na domačem dvorišču.
Pozdravljeni, sem Anton Grobelnik in prihajam iz Galicije. Obdelujemo 34 hektarov kmetijskih zemljišč, ki so v naravi njive in travniki. Naša kmetija ima že več generacij dolgo tradicijo. V preteklosti smo se ukvarjali s prerejo mleka, sedaj pa se posvečamo pri reji in predelavi mesa, prodaji svežega in zorjenega mesa ter suhomesnatih izdelkov. Sam dam veliko na tradicijo, ki jo na naši kmetiji poskušamo ohranjati. To so takšne dragocenosti, ki jih ohranjam in zelo spoštujem. Definitivno pa se v samem načinu kmetovanja, pojavu podnebnih sprememb in načinu prehranjevanja ljudi ogromno spremenilo. Zato je pomembno, da se kmetijstvo inovativno spreminja ter prilagaja. Sprememba na naši kmetiji se je zgodila leta 2019, ko sem postal mlad prevzemnik in sem sam iz Nemčije pripeljal 2 telici Wagyu. Uvedel sem inovativnost embriotransferja, kar se prej na naši kmetiji nikoli ni počelo. Tako smo lahko čredo hitreje povečevali. Na kmetiji poskušamo biti tudi čim bolj ekološki, zato je kar nekaj naših izdelkov polnjenih v steklene embalažo. Ponosni smo tudi na naše inovativne suhomesnate izdelke, izpostavi pa bi učko. To je svinjski kare, skozi katerega potegnjena svinjska slanina, vse skupaj pa zavito v mrežo in sušeno. To je unikaten izdelek naše kmetije, po katerem smo res prepoznavni. Zelo pomembno se mi zdi tudi uvajanje sprememb v kmetijstvu s poudarkom na sodelovanju. To se danes opaža v opazovanju mladih kmetov in kmetij pri nas v Sloveniji ter skupnim delovanjem različnih društev podeželske mladine. Ne pozabimo korenin, ne smemo pa se bati tudi inovativnosti.
Thank you very much. This was the last video for the category of best project, most resilient project. And now we move to the following category, which is best project on improving rural areas. As I said before, in this category fit all these projects that show an impact on rural communities. The first project comes from Austria. And where a couple, Bernhard and Liana Sommer, teamed up to produce natural yogurt. The MEP ambassador for this project is Mr. Alexander Bernhuber. I would like to give you the floor to have a short presentation of the video. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues, and especially dear young farmers here in the room. And it's a great pleasure for me to present our Austrian project, not only as a politician and also as a young farmer myself. And I was always looking few years ago also to the Young Farmers Congress, and I was very proud about the former Austrian projects in here. And I was very happy that we also already in past years we had a few victories for Austrian young farmers. So I'm very happy to present Bernhard Sommer, who has together with his family and his wife a great project making natural yogurt on his farm, and it's really a positive looking forward project, especially when we talk about topics like food security, like local production, and like lessons learned out of COVID. I think he and his project together with his family is really a front-runner project, and I'm really looking forward to see his video. Thank you very much, and all the best to all the participations in here. Thank you very much.
Let's have a look at the video.
Ich bin der Bernhard.
Und ich bin die Liana.
Und sind da auf dem landwirtschaftlichen Betrieb. Unser Hof heißt Lubinger Hof. Und haben eine Milchviehwirtschaft mit eigener Vermarktung von den Sommerjoghurt.
Genau, und ganz wichtig auch, wir haben 3 Kinder, Ben, Michi und Marie. Und genießen hier das Leben am Bauernhof. Wir dürfen unsere Kinder echt überall mitnehmen. Sie sind dabei bei der Produktion, sie sind dabei im Stall, bei der Heuernte oder beim Abfüllen von Joghurt. Also für uns auch das Allerwichtigste, dass wir uns Acht geben, dass wir Zeit haben mit den Kindern, dass wir auch wirklich eine glückliche Zeit haben zusammen und dass wir ganz viel Spaß auch zusammen haben.
Also grundsätzlich die Basis ist der landwirtschaftliche Betrieb für uns, wo wir 40 Milchkühe haben und das ist im Grunde auch so ein Teil. Und der zweite Teil ist die Molkerei, die Produktion, wo wir die Joghurts, was wir jetzt machen, die Schichtjoghurts herstellen.
Wir haben dann unser eigenes Fruchtmus, dann unsere Haferflocken und dann kommt dieses Naturjoghurt drauf. Das ist unsere gefühlt goldene Milch. Also das ist ja naturbelassen und das macht das einzigartig.
Ich denke, dass Nachhaltigkeit, Regionalität für uns große Punkte sind eigentlich. Es würde auch ohne dem, glaube ich, würde es ja uns gar nicht geben. Alleine der Schritt da, dass man sagt, okay, wir haben unseren Betrieb nachhaltiger gestaltet, dass einfach die nächste Generation auch wieder einen Ausblick hat. Weil wenn wir so weiter da hätten, die nächste Generation hat es wahrscheinlich noch schwieriger wie wir. Wenn man die ganze Landschaft da herum bei uns sieht, auch die Freiheit für die Kinder, haben wir sich gedacht, dieses Privileg darf man nicht einfach so aus der Hand geben und machen natürlich aus den landwirtschaftlichen Produkten jetzt unser eigenes Joghurt da. Wenn man unseren Betrieb oder unsere Produktion hernimmt, dann wollen wir das produzieren und das verkaufen, was wir selber auch kaufen würden.
And now let's meet our farmer from Belgium, Le Jeune François, who has turned his family business into organic agriculture to produce cereals. Let's watch the video together.
Je suis très heureux de vous présenter François Lejeune, jeune agriculteur qui a repris l'exploitation agricole familiale qui durait depuis 4 générations, qui l'a convertie, qui a aussi des objectifs bien sûr de production céréales, mais aussi de transformation, de stockage chez nous en Wallonie. Merci de le soutenir.
La filière Belgrain est un projet de commercialisation de céréales bio produites en Wallonie. Et donc nous commercialisons les grains sous 3 formes, en farine, en pâte et en grains. Le but était de stabiliser notre revenu en céréales, quelles que soient les conditions de marché, et donc d'avoir nos propres débouchés, de créer une filière où tout le monde se connaît le produit. Et donc notre force est de pouvoir caractériser des petits lots, et donc les acheteurs savent précisément la qualité qu'ils achètent. Et donc nous visons une qualité de farine supérieure.
And now let's move to Bulgaria and let's have a look at the project coming from Gergana Stoeva, who has set up a model of sustainable farm. The MEP ambassador for this project is Mr. Azim Adamov. I invite him to give a short presentation of this video. Thank you.
As an ambassador for Bulgaria in the 9th Congress of European Farmers, I would like to thank my colleague MEPs who organized this event, and I would like to thank all young farmers who represent their countries here. This event is very important for the European People's Party, because this is the party that defends farmers, and especially young farmers in Europe. One of the priorities of the EPP in the field of agriculture is to attract more women to agriculture. That is why it's a pleasure and honor for me to present to you this year's participant in this competition from Bulgaria, Gergana Stoeva, and her model for a resilient, sustainable farm. Gergana Stoeva has a farm, an animal farm close to Sofia, for donkeys, and the donkeys are milked. The milk is processed, and 4 additional additives are added to it, and the final result is very good for respiratory diseases. So I think this is a unique project in a field that is not so well known.
Казвам се Гергана Стоева, отглеждам магарета заедно с семейството си в китното селце Желява. През 2020 година решихме да отглеждаме магарета заради ползите от тяхното мляко. Започнахме с 2, а сега в стопанството ни има повече от 60 животни от породата балканско магаре. Магарешкото мляко е с изключително полезни свойства. То е сладко на вкус, богато на витамини и минерали и най-вече на имуноглобулини. Има добър ефект за повишаване на здравето на хората и най-вече на тези дихателни и белодробни проблеми. Основната ми цел е изграждането на цех за лиофилизиране на магарешкото мляко. Това позволява да съхраня свойствата му с по-дълъг срок на годност и повече методи за приложимост. През последните 2 години преминахме към основния приоритет на проекта – пробиотик от магарешко мляко с участието на световно известния Lactobacillus bulgaricus. Заедно с учените от Института по криобиология и хранителни технологии изследвахме съставките на млякото и започнахме да разработваме хранителни добавки от магарешко мляко и различни билки. Полученият продукт помага за по-бързото и успешно възстановяване след COVID-19, както и повишаването на здравния статус на хората. Дори наскоро малко количество от нашия продукт помогна на новородено бебе с дихателни проблеми. Смело можем да кажем, че ние сме първата ферма в света, която произвежда хранителни добавки от магарешко мляко. На тази база сме създали 4 продукта с уникални свойства. Сдемир Бозан – микс от лечебни билки, които помагат на функцията на черния дроб. Сартемизин за имунитет с мощно противопаразитно и антисептично действие. Сахинацея и прополис – това е най-мощната комбинация срещу грип и настинка. А комбинацията магарешко мляко с бабини зъби е натурален афродизиак, който спомага за физическата сила и издръжливост, както и на формирането на мускулна маса при активните спортисти. В процес сме на изграждане на съоръжение за производство на течен подобрител на почвата от магарешката тор. По този начин запазваме околната среда и предоставяме на фермерите висококачествена органична тор. Тя помага за увеличаване на добива и спира натрупването на нитрати в земеделските култури. Вече 3 години заедно с семейството ми се грижим за животните в нашето стопанство. Растем, живеем, развиваме щастието си около тях и около това да бъдем полезни на обществото с нашата дейност. Щастливи сме, че можем да предоставим продукт, който да помага на хората за техния имунитет и здраве.
We now go to Croatia to meet David Pejic, a young farmer who is running an organic farm that produces not only veggies but also bread and fermented products. I invite Mrs. Sunčana Glavak, the MEP ambassador, to give a short presentation. Thanks.
Yes, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, dear young farmers. Welcome to the European Parliament. Especially many thanks to my dear colleagues. Michaela, thank you very much. Nuno, Ignacio, and Herbert, So I'm here to share with you a story of remarkable success and innovation, a story that shows the strength and potential of young farmers in Europe. It's my great pleasure to talk about David Page. It's David Page, a young and innovative farmer from Croatia. David's story is actually inspiring. After studying in the USA at the prestigious University of Cambridge, he returned home to Croatia with a vision to transform the agricultural sector. He leads the oldest organic farm in Croatia, which has been a leader in organic agriculture and production in our country for more than 30 years. His commitment to organic farming and innovative approaches like the bio-intensive garden not only ensures environmental sustainability, but also sets new standards in the industry. David's recognition as the best young farmers in Croatia and the best organic farmer in Europe for 2022 shows how young farmers can be leaders in promoting sustainable and innovative agriculture. His work and achievements are an inspiration to all of us and show how young farmers can bring positive changes not only in their local communities but also at an international level. As a member of the European Parliament, I'm extremely proud to support and promote the work of such outstanding individuals like David. His achievements are an example to all of us that passion, dedication and innovation can be transformed into real measurable results that contribute to our society. Ladies and gentlemen, David, please stand up. David, please stand up.
So this is Zrno, the oldest organic farm in Croatia, situated 1 hour away from Zagreb, the capital of Croatia, in a small village called Habijanovac. Its area is about 20 hectares of land under different types of crops and under different types of crop production and management. The goal of our farm is to deliver products that are made from the very raw ingredients from the field all the way to the final product. There's a bakery on site on the farm, a sourdough bakery that makes like 20 kinds of pastry, 12 kinds of bread. There's a processing unit that makes different kind of fermented products, and of course there's the field production, the grain production, vegetable production. In addition to that, we have a farm-to-table restaurant in Zagreb, the capital, that sort of works as a point of synergy for all of those different production types and a place where all the different farms' products come together to form a unique experience for the guests and customers. This system gives us an opportunity to have end-to-end control throughout all those modes of production, resulting in a great final product. Our main motivation is a strong belief that a healthy individual is a prerequisite for a healthy society. By producing food in the way that we do, locally, organically, in small batches, we believe that we are producing food that is of excellent value for the individual, and we believe that in that way, in some terms directly, in some terms indirectly, we are promoting the development of a healthy society. I think that is our primary motivation that gets us up in the morning and gets us through the day. I think farming can be a highly satisfying work. Obviously, it's incredibly demanding, both physically and mentally, because we are always dealing with complex systems in farming. There are no shortcuts, but in some way that mimics the way nature is, and if we can overcome those challenges, there's an immense amount of satisfaction waiting for anyone who pulls through.
And now this is the last video for this category, and to conclude the presentation of the 13th project, we are going to Slovakia. And we're telling the story about Filip Galis, a young Slovak farmer who turns his family tradition of cultivating vegetables for self-consumption into a business. The MEP ambassador is Mr. Stefanec, who I invite to give a presentation of this video. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. It's my great pleasure to introduce Lucia and Filip Galisovci, who established a small and very successful farm in Slovakia. They produce fruits, they produce vegetables and traditional products. They are also members of Organization of Young Farmers, which is a very dynamic organization supporting young farming. So this is the representative from Slovakia representing traditional agriculture, and really it's the honor to introduce them and to congratulate, to appreciation. Thank you very much.
Teším sa, že u nás v dedine takýto obchod máme.
Verím, že pre občanov sú veľkým prínosom.
Tá zelenina je od nich zdravšia.
Dobre sú aj džemy, ktoré máme všetky odskúšané.
A za druhé, máme ich tu hneď vedľa.
Som rada, že je to čerstvé a lokálne.
Držím im veľmi palce.
Volám sa Filip Galis, pochádzam z Veľkých Uheriec, kde sme založili aj gazdovstvo, rodinné gazdovstvo. Naši starí rodičia aj rodičia vždy pestovali zeleninu pre vlastnú spotrebu, preto sme boli celý život sebestační. Videl som priestor, že by sme mohli naše produkty posunúť aj ostatným ľuďom, ktorí majú o to záujem. Rozrástli sme sa z malej záhumenky na 6,5 hektára, kde pestujeme celý sortiment čerstvej zeleniny. Tiež pestujeme širokú škálu odrôd cesnaku, ktorý pekne viažeme do takých vrkočov. Majú aj estetickú záležitosť, že to je pekné, ľahko sa to tým pádom uskladní, ale má to aj praktickú výhodu a v tom, že dlhšie vydrží, keď ostane ten cesnak na tej vňati. Naša zelenina sa líši od tej zo supermarketu hlavne tým, že nie je ničím urýchlovaná, má prirodzenú chuť a farbu. Ďalej je to lokálny produkt, čiže necestuje cez pol sveta na váš tanier, ale tí naši zákazníci si kupujú lokálne vyprodukované potraviny. Spracovávame aj ovocie z našej produkcie, vyrábame džemy, sirupy, slivkový lekvár.
Slivkový lekvár budete mať?
Áno, áno.
Kľudne som natýpila, spokojná som.
Ľudia hovoria, že na slivkový lekvár je...
Thank you very much and congratulations, because really I personally think that all these projects are very inspiring. And as I mentioned before, each category set a series of criteria. I would like you to meet the president of the jury who decided how to assign this prize. That's why I would like to call on the podium Mr. Norbert Linz, Chair of the Agri Committee at the European Parliament and President of the Jury Prize. Thank you very much for telling us more about how you evaluated the project and also which part of these 13 wonderful projects struck you the most. So I leave you the floor.
There we are.
Thank you very much.
Yes, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, thank you very much for giving me the floor. And 1 year ago, when I spoke about the challenges of farmers in Europe, which they faced the last years due to the COVID crisis, the war in Ukraine, and the serious energy crisis, this time today, I want to point out again what the previous speakers had already mentioned and want to make a bit of publicity for the EPP when it comes to farming. And I think we, as a party, are constantly proving that we are the party for the farmers, as this was mentioned before by several speakers. But not only do we have these events like the Young Farmers Congress, where we show our commitment for the future generation. I would like to remind us that we had this event in the Hemicycle in September this year with the topic of the European Farmers Deal, and we made our EPP vision for the agriculture in Europe, and I think it was also a huge success. And after this, we made the paper with the same name, No Farmers, No Food, ensuring the economic and social prospects for EU farmers, and innovation and investments and not ideology as the driver of greener agriculture in the European Union. I think that says it all. We need to give farmers the necessary tools and freedoms in order to create change and a better future on their farm and in rural areas in general. And when we have a look at what happened the last months with nature restoration law and sewer, and I think the former Vice President Timmermans was mentioned several times this afternoon, I think it was the EPP who stood firm on the farmer side. And for sure, not the far right and not the left side of this house worked with fear, and they worked with fear and ideology to put a huge burden on our farmers. But why do I point this out this afternoon to the young farmers here? I just want to say it is really a pleasure to see your projects, and it shows us as politicians that it is worth fighting these political fights for you. Farmers like you are a role model for a lot of young people out there. And I really want to thank you wholeheartedly for your hard work and the passion you dedicate yourself to your profession. And I'm convinced that other ones will learn a lesson from your commitment and your innovation skill. And I can assure you, for the jury, it was not easy to more or less to select, to do the selection process. We have seen 13 wonderful, innovative projects, and we had to select. We had to do a choice, and I would say let's move to the award celebration. Thank you very much for all your efforts you have done. Thank you very much to all the colleagues who were involved, to the jury, and thanks again. I think this Congress is as well a huge success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Linz. I would like also to invite Mrs. Margot Plurien from Schuttler & Partner, which is our external evaluator who assisted the jury in the evaluation of the project, to give us a brief presentation of the methodology that you have used to evaluate the project. Thanks.
Yes, thank you. So, as mentioned by Mr. Linz, we're very excited to know the winners, so we'll keep it very short and sweet. I represent Schuttler & Partners. We are a consultancy specialized in agri-food. I have among my team and my colleagues passionate people, as passionate as the people you have seen in the videos, I hope. As mentioned also, it was not an easy job to choose among the project. As an external consultancy, Schuttler was in charge to make sure that all projects submitted were as per the rules in terms of format and content. As I said, the quality of the project was really high, and working on the shortlist that we provided the jury with was a tough decision. The jury has in hand then to rank the shortlisted project based on criteria. Eligibility criteria included innovation, but also sustainability, laid down by the award regulation that I invite you to check on the website. But I don't want to take any more of your time. Despite already knowing the winners, I'm very excited for you to get to know them, and I would like to thank you and give back the floor to the jury. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, this is the moment that everyone was looking for. Discover who won the different prizes for the different categories. If you're wondering what the prize consists of, it consists in a check of 5,000 euros powered by CropLife Europe, Fertilizers Europe, and McDonald's. In order to give space to everyone, I will ask to our partners to announce the winners. The winners will come here to take a photo moment and then go back to their seats, and we'll go on with the second announcement. Okay, so I'm very excited to call Mr. Olivier de Matos, Director General of CropLife Europe, to reveal the winner. First, I would like to tell him which is CropLife's Europe vision of the future of agriculture in Europe, and what role can digital and precision farming play.
Thanks a lot, Elena. First of all, I'd like to say that it's a real pleasure being here. And I would like to thank also the hosts, the organizers for the event. Every year, I'm blasted away by the quality of the applications and the projects. They are very inspiring. And the one actually that we are presenting today as CropLife Europe in terms of digital project is just, amazing. So for me, it's a privilege having the opportunity to present that. I just would like to start by saying that the future of agriculture, of EU agriculture, lies in ensuring generation renewal. But it also relies on making sure that farmers have access to a full toolbox of innovative technologies. That toolbox of innovative technologies is actually something that we are, as CropLife Europe, focusing a lot of efforts on. Our members are driven by innovation. And talking specifically about digital and precision agriculture, in 2020, we committed as an organization, our members committed to invest 10 billion euros in digital and precision agriculture. And in our last reporting, I'm happy to say that actually we've reached 21% of this total investment. So as a sector, it is a commitment that we have until 2030 to make sure that farmers have the adequate toolbox to be able to do their job. I would like also to point something that is important, is that innovation is great. We see a lot of projects, a lot of examples here, but we need quicker access to innovation. We need an environment that fosters investment. We also need a framework, a legislative framework that supports that investment and that access to innovation. And we also need to consider very seriously public-private partnerships. It's a collective effort to get there. And if we're not able to do that, it's going to be very difficult to achieve the objectives that we have at hand. So the award today is a great opportunity actually to showcase the digital side of things, the digital practices in farming, and also see how we can mainstream these technologies. So I'm not going to be longer than that. I would like to announce the winner of this category. It must have been a big headache, actually, for the jury to come to a final decision. And I'm going to try to be good in the pronunciation. So the award goes to Matej Klenar from Czech Republic.
Congratulations. Congratulations. And let's find out now who won the most resilient project category. And this time the name is revealed by Antoine Ocha, Director General at Fertilizers Europe. I would like to tell you, also to ask you how your company is working to provide farmers with tools for a productive, resilient and sustainable business. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. I want to say it's for me the first time here, and I'm really impressed by the quality of the project myself. But I couldn't agree more with you with your words when you say we need an agriculture in Europe that is first productive, but is resilient and also sustainable. And on this, fertilizer producers are the natural partners for the farmers because we bring nutrients to the plants first, but even more important than that, we have a huge knowledge and experience. And when you put this together with the knowledge and experience of the farmers, then you come up with solutions. And there is no one solution, there is no silver bullet. We need to have various solutions. Among them, we have precision farming, advanced fertilizers, modern nutrient management practices. All this has to come together. But my message today to the young farmers is we have to work together, farmers and fertilizer industry, because in front of us we have a huge mountain to climb. Decarbonization of the food production. This is the next huge challenge. How to decarbonize it and how to create a market for decarbonized products, because there is no surprise, they will be more expensive. So we need to cooperate, sit together and find solutions. But Elena, I'm myself a very curious person, so I guess there are other curious persons here. They want to know who is the winner. So I am actually very pleased that the winner is from a country that is neighbor to mine. And then you start asking yourself, where are you from? I'm from Albania, and the winner is from Greece.
Congratulations. Congratulations also to our Greek participant, and let's find out who won the last category, Best Project on Improving Rural Areas. And for this last award, I call Eloi de la Selle, Director for Purchasing, Quality Logistics, Environment at McDonald's. You know that food and environment are strictly connected, and the packaging, transportation, and distribution of food play an important societal role. I would like to ask you, how is the food service industry working to have a positive impact in fighting climate change?
Wow, that's quite a question. Well, to be honest, first I would like to thank the organization of the Congress. It's really great. I'm quite impressed of being here. It's my first time in the European Parliament, as I guess most of the young farmers here in this room. So really happy to be here and also energized by what we have seen. And the energy, we will need it. We'll need it because we are currently facing a challenging world where we will have to live in a 1.5 degrees Celsius future using the same, if not fewer, natural resources. That's a huge challenge. And I think the food industry has got a great role to play here to drive and strive the industry and support the agriculture, because we are all together in the same boat on that topic. And the goal is really to enhance positive impacts and to reduce the negative ones. So I think the whole food industry is really behind it. McDonald's itself announced back in 2021 the goal to be net zero by 2050, and we are on our way to our 2030 midterm commitment, and we are making progress. We are making progress, and we've got responsibility. Responsibility because we've got 40,000 restaurants across the world, 6,500 in Europe, within 3,500 cities. A lot of big numbers, but basically what it means is that we've got an impact. And together with the farmers, ranchers, but also with the NGOs, we can really make a difference. And we really believe that agriculture is really part of the solution, but not part of the problem that we are facing regarding climate. Again, all together, I think we can really make a difference to really thrive the change and to tackle that problem that we are facing with the climate change. So for that, we know that we have to work again together with the ranchers, with our franchisees, with the industry, with governments, with NGOs. I mean, it's not alone that you can do the change. It's together in the same direction that you can really foster the future. Young farmers are the future of agriculture. Agriculture is feeding the world, and agriculture is really the future also of the food industry. Without agriculture, we don't have food industry. So without young farmers, we don't have agriculture. So basically, again, we are all together in the same boat to really thrive the difference. And what I've seen today in terms of innovation on the different projects that we've seen is really amazing. I think we've got, in the generation of young farmers that we've got in Europe, really good ideas on how to transform the agriculture in Europe. So I'm very proud again to be here, and I think it's time now to announce the winner. The winner for the best project on improving rural areas. I have to say that between the first and the second place, from what I heard, there is only one single point of difference. So it was really a tough one, a tough decision. But yeah, so the winner is a young farmer. Hey, no doubt. Is a young farmer that has taken off the family farms that has lasted for 4 generations. The winner is François Lejeune from Belgium. Congratulations.
Congratulations, really. Congratulations. And there is like a plot twist in this Congress because there is an extra prize, an extra award.
Attention, attention, extra prize.
Extra prize. And I call Duarte Mira to tell us more.
Sorry for that. For the last 9 years was great, was okay. So I want to ask you, to the MEPs and to the winners, the young farmers, the sponsors, and Mr. Norbert Lins, to go down because we have a career premium, a career prize to award a people that starts since the beginning in 2012 this Congress among us, and we want to award Nuno Melo as a career prize. Nuno, come here,
You didn't
please.
expect, huh? It's a surprise, I swear. Nobody knew, so. Thank you very much, really. Thank you for.
In the meanwhile, don't forget.
Activity during these years. Thank you very much.
In the meanwhile, don't forget that the cocktail reception all together to taste very good European products will be at Rue Belliard 40. It's 150 meters from here. Please.
I would like
starting at 6:30, of course.
Yeah, I would like to really say thank to all the people that made possible this event, to the European People's Party group at the European Parliament, to the hosting MEPs, to their teams, to our partners, the 30 MEP ambassadors, and thank you to Schüttler and Partner for guiding the evaluation process, to Buscardini Communication for the organization and the coordination of the communication, to the interpreters, and thank you to you, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you very much.
One call.